So, Doc, I wanted to just a real quick, your Dr. Blair. So, I mean, what's our background that we're starting with here?
Definitely a generalist. I work in remote areas, so
Mhm.
my mission has been to provide care where it's needed the most. And a lot of that has been out in remote areas. And out in remote areas, you do everything. So I'm in an area where when I was doctoring, I've retired now, but for 40 years, uh, everything that happened between birth and death at some point. Seeing people aches and pains and all just kind of stuff that people end up thinking I should go and see a doctor for. There's a fair bit of that that's the muscular aches and strains. It's really about biomechanics and how people have moved. And sometimes that's an instant accident or something that happened or over time the way they move. And that part of the biomechanics really interests me. I dance a lot. I like being physical and that I'm I'm always curious and learning about that. So these various themes, the dance and creative movement, especially contact improv, um, from the doctor side, realizing that if people could get so that they're even just paying more attention and more embodied in their movement, they're much less likely to strain themselves and almost everything works better. I had broken my collarbone a couple times as a kid, and then as an adult, I realized that I still had this sense of just, I did remember this brace that opened up my chest, and I started looking around for it, and it's actually not easy to find, and there are various things, but nothing really worked. So again, playing around with things. This also combined with this real fascination about aerial, about lift, about what happens. I, as a kid, what do you want to do when you grow up? Helicopter pilot. Just that whole idea, just being able to
I want to
lift up in
fly.
the air, just want to fly, flying dreams I would have often. Um, so he's also playing around with trying to get that both something that you could wear that would help open things up. But then I started suspending and started with suspending inner tubes and what it's like to hang from that kind of stuff. Um, and went from inner tubes, bungee cords, started to realize these wide bands that would distribute the force. The idea with the lift was how to spread out the lift. So you're not lifting one part of the body, you're lifting all around the body at the same time so that you get this the counterbalance of gravity, you get the uplift, but so that it's really even and you could get this phenomena of literally floating in air. Of the same way that water makes us really buoyant, I wanted to be buoyant in air. So playing around a lot of these things, most of this came around with these bands spiraling around the body. And I have developed what I call the flying contraption, which is this really fun jolly jumper for adults that lifts you up and you get to swim in the air. And then out of that, realize that that whole arrangement of straps, even if you disconnect it from the full uplift, is what has become the body braid. Any idea that I would have, I would literally put it on my body and see how that felt over time to then go, oh, my body's saying close, but I think you want something a little this way or that way. And that was all the research and development.
To
So that
be
was
honest,
that
that's kind
combination.
of most of the ways I wear the braid are through physical experimentation of, let's
Totally.
try this and see
And the
how
more you
it
do that, the
feels.
more then you are actually learning. It becomes a learning tool, which is when it's the most valuable. So
Yeah.
it came full circle. So as a doctor, I was seeing all these problems and trying to figure out various ways that are going to be helpful. At the same time that I was developing this in a very personal way for me around what my own body needed around movement. And then once it went public and it started to be seen, that's when the EDS community latched on and said, hey, we found something that we really need. Well, I consider EDS to be the most comprehensive and the most severe of symptoms related to connective tissue. And that's why there's a whole lot of different genetics around it. There are some commonalities, but they're very different types. But it's all related to what happens with our connective tissue, especially through that protein collagen. So, like most things in health and bodies, there's always a range. And
Mhm.
while EDS is the end of that range, it's the most severe. Body Braid can help with problems, can help
Mhm.
for some people with pain, can help with, I had this problem I needed to get rid of, and this helped me have less of that. That's the whole
Mhm.
problem medical approach to things. But it's got this just as valuable part that's the, oh, I like this feeling. It wasn't really a problem before, but oh, I want more of this. This is the sweet, this is the health promotion, this is the pleasurable, this is the that you don't find anywhere in medicine.
It's
Quite
not
the
as strongly targeted, but I almost feel it's more valuable because that's what's missing.
this is
And
what's
for almost everybody,
oh,
that's what's missing. And I feel like Jasmine from Aladdin, it's a whole new world.
yeah.
When I first get to sit, I'm like, wow, like,
Oh,
whoa. And because it really is because I felt that I knew it wasn't curing my herniated discs, but I felt like it gave my body space to heal on its own. It gave it a breath. It said, let me take some of your work for you a little bit. You
right.
know, it was like that helping hand, that invisible helping hand that you need
Yeah.
from the inside out.
So there is a key concept with that I'd like to talk about, which is this the way that it has some of the advantages of what Western medicine and scientific medicine has developed very strongly, which is this problem management. How do we address what's the problem and what do we do to have less of the problem? But the real limitation of medicine is that in that process of randomization and trying to get everything for generic and for everybody, it has intentionally done this whole double blind. Let's intentionally ignore what the person is experiencing. What's the feeling? What's the quality? What's this? How does this affect your sense of being and your wellness and who you are and all of those things? So I've tried to draw on the advantages of that Western medicine, the real value in the way that it's gotten out there and how grassroots spread that we want to now keep propagating
Yep.
is entirely this sensed, felt, oh, I want to tell my friend because I'm so excited. It's the things you were just talking about with this sort of like, wow, this is
It's a
like,
new world. It's a new life.
and these whole kind of new things. And there is this
Yeah,
artistic, creative aspect that I love the wildness of it.
yeah.
It
It
is
is. And
unrestrained.
I never could have guessed or predicted the level and intensity and range of responses from people when they first put this on and experience it. Like, and yes, I know there's the somatic experience because we hold emotions in our bodies, and a lot of us don't feel our bodies very well. And so just having that connection in the first place is really powerful. But I feel like it is that aspect is so lost and so gone and missing. And that is, I believe, a huge root of so much of the turmoil emotionally and mentally, and then also piles on to the physical issues that people have around the world. That when you get to tap into that and you get to have that kind of warm hug for possibly the first time in your life, that's it's almost being reborn. That's really, really powerful.
It's very powerful. And again, it touches on something that's quite distinct
Yeah.
because here's where almost all of us that have grappled with these things and the people who really respond the strongest, there is this sense of, oh, not only have we been missing this, but people keep blaming us for having problems because we're missing it. Like it's hard enough that we didn't know or couldn't feel this before, but the gaslighting is so
Mm.
much about we are supposed to function like quote unquote normal people when our bodies aren't functioning like normal people. So there's this deep kind of added layer. There's both the wow, this is a new world. It's so exciting to get to explore. And I feel there's a kind of grief that often comes
Yeah,
up. So people often do start to cry.
100%.
Often people will say, I don't know why I'm crying. I feel so good. And I've come to call those tears of relief.
Yeah.
This release. It's this like, because I think there's also an emotional kind of validation for some people
Mhm.
of, oh, this wasn't all in my
Yeah,
head.
it's
I
not
wasn't just
my
making this
fault.
up. It's not my fault. It's not something wrong with me. It's that I wasn't able to feel this
Yeah.
before.